and welcome to Heather TV. Today, I'm very excited to be introducing David Marc Alterman to our listeners. Hi, David.
Hello, everyone.
I'm very excited to have met David and to have performed his piece with Quartet St. Taste. And actually, pieces, I should say. We performed 3 pieces of David's, and all of us at Quartet St. Taste fell in love with David's music. It's really special music, beautiful music, and the audience fell in love with the music as well. So thank you so much, David, for being a composer and for sharing your gifts to the world.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say, and I'm very grateful for the time you all spent and that you played the music. I'm grateful, and I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yes, it was absolutely beautiful. Very, very nice. So David, can you tell us, what is your first musical memory? It's something I really enjoy asking all my interviewees.
Well, I probably heard melodies in my mind as long as I can recall. And I was always singing out sentences. I think besides getting sent to the principal's office in 2nd grade, which is about 7 or 8 years old, I guess, for singing to myself, which I can promise you it's an annoying habit for those who aren't the ones singing to themselves. I think the first big memory I have is a song on the radio called Love is Blue. It was by Paul Moran. It was an Italian song that was on American radio in 67, I think it was. And I tried to play that on the piano. I just fell in love with that. It was orchestrated, it didn't have any lyrics. And tried to play it on the piano that we had at home, the little spinet we had at home. And that got me piano lessons.
Oh.
That's right, that's what you get for for trying to play the piano lessons.
That's wonderful. So that is your main instrument then, piano.
Piano and voice, which I think is a good training for a composer, personally. I mean, it's heightened training.
Yeah.
Sang in choir since I was maybe 9 or so. For a very young age, I was in a boys' choir. I sang all 4 parts and played the piano.
Excellent. So would you sit down at the piano and play and sing at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little out of practice on the piano because I spend more time with the composing. But I mean, I can.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm popular around Christmas, I guess.
So you have a very special story that I think needs to be shared, and that is how you came about to be a composer. Can you tell us your special story, what happened to you when you were, I think it was 12 years old, correct?
Correct. As I said, I had been hearing melodies and making up ones, melody I didn't realize they were unique or different. I didn't know there really was such a thing as a composer at that young age. I just thought music just existed, that it wasn't that people did, so it just didn't click with me. One day I was in my music class. We had that at 7th grade, I guess. And my teacher, Barbara Bagley, who might still be at the Upper Darby High School in Pennsylvania, he switched on Bach piece. Yeah, another one of those. Just turned on the classical music by switched on Bach. And it was the F major invention, and I was just stunned. I'd never heard anything like that before. It's just, I was really moved. I was kind of teary-eyed. I was really moved. And that was the most perfect thing I'd ever heard. And then a voice in my head, very calm, said, you could do that. And I said, yeah, I probably could. What I tell people, as I said, easier said than done. But that's how it started with Bach. So then I just started to buy all the Bach I could. My parents, they liked classical music, mostly opera, and we had some other things. But I was the one that started bringing Bach to the house.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got my father interested in Bach and Mozart, which he hadn't been, and it was his big loves life. So yeah, I've got a lot of people interested in classical music.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's really kind of cool because a lot of times it seems like the parents listen to classical music or something, and that's how the children come into that environment. But actually, in your situation, you introduced your parents to Bach. That's really special.
And I've definitely, especially my father, really broadened his horizons for that. He loved it. Mm-hmm. He absolutely loved it. He had a good ear too for form and the language of music.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. So, why do you compose? So we know that you hear the songs in your head. You had this voice tell you you can do that. Why do you continue to still do it?
I enjoy it. I think it ends up just being a part of what I am. Yeah. I'm not happy when I'm not doing, when I'm not working on it, and I hear it in my head usually. So either way, it's, but I'm always thinking about music a lot. I think about music more than I think about food. And about a lot of other things. I realized the other day I was listening to a choir conductor and they were pointing out about how well the instruments played and how the other singers sang. I don't think that way at all. I think like a composer, I'm thinking, what did Brahms do during the Requiem that made this more interesting? Oh, that was a good idea. So that's how I'm always thinking when I hear music.
So, just a random question. Do you dream music? Does music come to you in dreams?
Yes. I also have musical hallucinations, soft and loud ones. Dreams, on occasion, but they're usually not that great themes, or I can't remember them. But yes, I do. I have an orchestra in my mind. It's not perfect, but it's close.
That's amazing.
I had to work that. That can come naturally. But also, the most startling is the musical hallucinations. So, where there'll just be loud music playing, and then I realize that it's from my mind.
That's amazing, really. So you.
It's okay. It's nothing wrong with it, and we're pretty decent. Those are the best ones usually.
Yeah, that's really I see that as a big sign that's it's something that is shared with you that for you to write, and it's obviously very important because of the way it's coming to you.
Yeah, I suppose. It never comes the same way, so there's maybe 6 or 7 basic paths out up here, but yeah. I wish I could have those dreams and then wake up and write yesterday, like Paul McCartney did. Yeah. That'd be great. Write the best pop tune ever, whatever. One of the best pop tunes ever. A dream. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, you never know, it might happen to you. And maybe it already has, and it just hasn't gotten played yet.
I don't know. Most of the dreams I've had, I don't think they haven't passed muster. I can't just pick everything that comes.
So, David, can you tell us what is your spark or your inspiration to compose?
Well, I think it's within myself for the most part. I just have what I feel is a musical brain. I'm always thinking about it. As far as actually going through with it, it's just I want to do it. And I enjoy it. Sometimes does that answer your question? Or
yeah, definitely. I know that sometimes we hear things and that kind of sparks us. Have you had that happen? You heard something?
Yes, oh yeah. Sometimes I've heard pieces that were from a long time ago that sparks things. I love the music from the Middle Ages. I like Eastern European gypsy brass band music. And I heard Hungarian folk music and even Bulgarian folk music and Eastern European folk music and and Bach and all this. Sometimes that'll spark me. But in the 20th century, it can be a drier. It can be your just a note that might be here from a machine or one never knows what his vacuum cleaner wants, or I'll just take it as it comes.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So since we're talking about what influences your compositions, we have the Quartet Sing Taste had the distinct pleasure to perform your piece Landini Rag and your your tango written for string quartet. Let's talk about the Landini Rag first. First, can you tell us the inspiration of the name of Landini Rag?
He was a composer, a blind Italian composer who lived in the, I can't remember, 1300s. And he was very revered. He wrote madrigals and maybe some other works perhaps. But he was known for a cadence. His name reminds me of those times. And it just kind of came to me. I'm not actually very good at naming pieces. To my own detriment. But he used the cadence, which is not exactly in this work, but it's very similar to the cadence that I used in that piece to start it off. How he ended his pieces, I used it to start off the work. And another thing I discovered when I was younger was ragtime. I got a hold of, I guess it was that movie, The Sting, I think.
Oh, I love that movie. Paul Newman and Robert Redford, right?
Redford and Ray Walston and Robert. Anyway, I bought a record of Joshua Rifkin, and he played it very wonderfully. And then I started playing them, and I enjoyed them. The rhythm is very intoxicating. But I try to use that syncopation. I find it makes music more interesting.
Yeah.
That's Stravinsky discovered too, that syncopation makes music more interesting. One of the things that makes it interesting. I find it more interesting. So I put those two together, the medieval harmonies plus some other modern harmony, and the syncopation inspired by ragtime. And that's why I called it that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Very lengthy.
Well, no, it's wonderful, and I think it's a genius combination of ragtime and Landini. I mean, that's excellent. It's very.
Well, I can't say I'm the first person to ever think of that. But I'll put my flag out on it. If it's me, I don't know. I'm just it's what I'm. It's synthesis. That's all. I don't think there's any genius in it, honestly.
Well,
it's just synthesis from taking the past and asking why not, and just asking them.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. A couple of things that you sparked me to say is actually many times I find that genius actually lies in simplicity. It's not necessarily something extremely complicated. And as far as the questions, I think that's perfect. And you just to ask the question, why not? Why not this? Why not that? It's really breaking down walls and barriers and kind of creating a path full of light that you just can continue on, and the options are endless.
I think so, even just musically thinking. I try to keep it within things that are musical. So, ragtime and medieval music are musical things that I've never heard put together. And it just came to me in an inspiration, I suppose.
Yeah. And it's wonderful that you followed through with the inspiration, because so many times you may have these inspiration thoughts or dreams and we don't follow through on it. And so that's it's wonderful that you went ahead and did that.
Right. One thing I think inspiration is, for example, when I was 8, I sang a little melody to get my father out of the bathroom. I had to go to the bathroom. And I had remembered it maybe 20 plus years later and started to work on it. And then I stopped because it started to sound like a Sousa march, the Liberty Bell March. So I stopped. Well, I can't do that. But then the inspiration I thought was that, well, why not embrace that? Why reject it? Why not embrace that it does sound that and make it like a, I don't know, it's not quite a quote, leave it, I guess, but make it a mishmash or a burlesque and see where it goes. And that's what happened. I mean, it's trying to figure out the yes to it. Well, why did I say no and all that? And make this work. So I try to keep it open, best open mind I can.
Yeah.
I just don't want to be, trite where it's like, oh, that's been done before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to avoid that. But besides that, I mean, a lot of things are game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's wonderful. Absolutely. So, so let's kind of talk about what you think music's role is in the 21st century. So let's start first with what are the advantages of the 20th and 21st century composers?
We have a great deal of advantage. One, we have the past, and we have great access to the past. So I can hear music all the way from Gregorian chant to whatever's going on today. And if I want to, I can get a recording of that music and I can listen to it for hours on end. I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
And just listen and listen. And then I can use their approaches, not necessarily the notes, or I can even use the notes in some of the very, very older. I only use notes, somebody else's notes if it's anonymous. Usually it's very old.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'll use their approach. I mean, I always give credit. I'll say like a fantasy, medieval theme.
Yeah.
Or use the approach. There's a couple of pieces I use the approach. It's not, how they solve problems and how they went about it, the different harmonies they use in the past. But also I can listen to, I'm 52, I can listen to, when Bach was 52, he didn't write the Art of Fugue. But if I, at 52, even at 32, whatever, I can listen to the whole thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and at 52, he hadn't even written it. And I can listen to it. And I can listen to Beethoven's works with a critical ear and pick the ones I like and learn from those and on, and learn from, maybe Bach only had Vivaldi, maybe Hausberger, maybe Sinful, Buxtehude. I mean, it was pretty limited in whatever was going on. He was making it up, I think. I don't know how he figured it out. His brothers, I don't know. But I already have the master. It's a lot of how to do is in the Bach's music is very, very transparent. If one takes the time from the notes. Unlike Mozart, where it's very hard to figure out. We have that advantage. Plus, then we have different things that affect us. As I said, like dryers and just the modern age or different anxiety, like, Burns said or whatever. We have that. And we have the internet, which is really wonderful. How we can all communicate throughout the entire world. I don't know how I would have met someone in Bulgaria 30 years ago. I just wouldn't have happened probably. I would have had to word of mouth.
Exactly.
And that's great.
Yes, absolutely. The internet is an amazing tool. Absolutely amazing tool to connect people around the world.
It's really changed the way everything's done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What do you think we can learn from music?
I suppose we can learn that most people have this ability to listen to music in one way or another. And that it does help us realize that how all related we are to each other. That's one thing I think. And we can just learn about the human condition. I really believe that. That music explores different parts of what it is to be a human being.
Can you tell us, how do you see music as a form of communication between cultures?
Well, that's a great question. I think that almost everyone has music with the language of music within their own mind. So we have this music that exists in our mind, the language of music, just like language exists only in our brain, I think. And that's where its reality is. So to learn that language, I think, allows one to communicate with anyone who is willing to listen and can appreciate. So that means that throughout different cultures, and different cultures have different ways they do things, which is really, really cool. That's what I love. I love that. I'm glad we all don't do it the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
And get a different feel for things. Like Hungarians, because their language is different than almost any other European language. Their music is different.
Yeah.
Different accents, and it's quite interesting. Just because of their language has that like what they do in their language. So we can listen to Chinese music, or they can listen to the West, and we can listen to pretty much what everybody is doing. And I think that unites cultures and brings us closer together. I like that. I think that's an important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So music, you see music as a connection, a communication connection between cultures.
Right. It's something that we almost all have in common. That we can realize how similar we are as human beings. Yeah. And that means it goes across cultures.
Absolutely. I think that's something that's really really spot on right there, about music being the source of communicating between cultures.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. So, David, I have to say it's been such an absolute pleasure to get to know you, to get to know your music, and to perform your music. And I know one thing that we have for our listeners today is the viola solo that you wrote. Absolutely beautiful viola solo. So for all the listeners, there's a link below that you can check out and get the viola solo that was written by David.
Yes, I like it. If you take it and decide to play it, I hope you enjoy it. And if you perform it, you can contact me on Facebook and tell me you did. I like to know when I get a performance.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you, David. So the way to connect with David is to find him on Facebook, and I'll also put that link below this as well, so everybody can get in touch with you.
That'd be great.
So, David, thank you so much again. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thanks to all the listeners out there listening to the interview. And before we say goodbye, David and I have a